So it depends who you talk to. Is this a big game or a mean-nothing game tonight?
Well, you know, ask any football player and I think they'll tell you there's no such thing as a mean-nothing game. But you look at the standings and you do the math and it means nothing. But it means a lot more than that in the sense that, I mean, Calgary hasn't beaten the BC Lions at Men's Stadium in over 3 years. So they got to get over that hump. They haven't beaten them in 4 straight games. They got to get over that hump. Because if it all goes according to plan, the Stampeders will be playing the BC Lions in the West Division Final on November 18th at BC Place. So I think they've got to take a jump here. They got to get over that hurdle of beating this team. And yeah, that puts a little bit of importance on this game from the Stampeders' perspective anyways.
Some would say this is a perfect opportunity to get a injured quarterback some reps.
Well, not injured anymore, obviously. He's been practicing with the team for the last few weeks. At this stage, it's more of a mental thing than a physical thing with Drew Tate. I think he's got to prove to himself and prove to the coaching staff that he's willing and able to take a hit. I don't think there's any question that he can take a hit. He's done that in the past. But, you know, it becomes a mental thing. And, you know, I talked to him a few weeks ago and he said the only thing he wondered about was the act of bracing himself when he falls down on his left side. And that's the way he hurt himself in Toronto. So, from that perspective, yeah, I guess there's a little bit of a step to be taken, but I mean, he's going to get contact early, and I'm sure it'll be the end of it right there. So, yeah, good opportunity to get some reps against a very, very good defense.
Is this also an opportunity for John Hufnagel to, I don't know, injure the psyche of Kevin Glenn?
No, I don't think so. I mean, the thing that Kevin Glenn has always said from day one since he got here is that he just wants the lines of communication to be open and know what's going on. That was his greatest complaint last year in Hamilton when he was kind of involved in a rotation with Quentin Porter, is that he never knew from day to day what the plan was. John Hufnagel has made it clear he has a plan. He communicated that plan early in the week to these guys, and that's all he asked. I mean, the fact is he came in here knowing he was the backup quarterback, and that was set forth from day one. And you know, John Hufnagel hasn't told us what the plan is, but he's told the quarterbacks, and that's the main thing.
Any simmering quarterback controversy brewing here, or is that just a media creation?
It generally is. I mean, John Hufnagel has been through them as a player. He's seen them as a coach. I think he's learned lessons out of that. He's never had to deal with it here, really. And the fact is, you know, last year, if there was anyone between Henry Burris and Drew Tate, it was snuffed out because John Hufnagel very clearly said, here's what is going to happen. And there was no gray area. And I think that's the best way to prevent a quarterback controversy.
A big game for John Cornish as well.
Well, sure. Andrew Harris is in town, and that's his main competition for the most outstanding Canadian, maybe even the most outstanding player award in the West Division. So a chance for both of them to show their stuff. And you know, John Cornish coming off a game maybe when he ran into a brick wall in terms of the rushing game against Hamilton because they stacked the box, but then 7 catches for over 100 yards and the Canadian Player of the Week award. So yeah, always fun to watch those two guys go head to head.
One player you'd like to single out today to keep an eye on is Keon Raymond.
Well, sure. He had just an amazing game last week against the Hamilton Tiger Cats. 2 sacks in the game, first time he's ever had a 2-sack game, and obviously the big interception return, and becomes the only player in Stampeder history to have returned 2 pick sixes for over 100 yards, so that kind of speaks for itself. But again, what's impressive about that is that he was playing a different position than he played most of the year, and he's the most versatile defensive player the Stampeders have. Has played all 5, really all 6 defensive back positions when you consider that the Sam backer position is a 6th defensive back, and plays them all well and continues to do it well.
Quickly about the game itself, do you expect resting of some players who are nursing bruises?
Well, you know, it's not like the Stampeders have a great deal of depth behind some of their bumps and bruises either, so I'm not sure that they're in a position to do that. And that's just the fact of life in the CFL with a 42-man roster and a practice roster such as it is. I mean, some players have to step up and play through a little bit of pain.
BC?
Sure. It's sounding like Arlan Bruce and G. Roy Simon are going to play tonight. Still up in the air as of when we tape this as to whether Mike Riley or Travis Lulay will play. But again, you don't want to let guys get rusty at this time of year either. You got to keep that kind of competitive edge.